Hello everybody and welcome to the first playthrough of 2026. And as you can tell, it's another Mario game. Yeah, 3 Mario games in a row, huh? But I figure since considering this was the first Mario vs. Donkey Kong game I've ever played in my life, I figured why the hell not at this point, right? But as everyone, welcome to Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2, March of the Minis. Now this game is of course a sequel to the previous Mario vs. Donkey Kong game on the Game Boy Advance, in which that game actually got itself a remake on the Switch. But this game does not get that treatment, or actually any other Mario game, or any actually Mario vs. Donkey Kong game, in fact. Yeah, the Game Boy Advance version of Mario vs. Donkey Kong really only gets that remake treatment, really. But anyways, everyone, now you may be wondering, am I gonna perfect every level in the game? Probably not, since I'm not exactly all that much of an expert at any of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games, so... But I am gonna try my best to do as best as I can anyway. But anyways, everyone, as you can see, now here's the only sort of plot that you're really ever gonna give this game, really. Yeah, there really isn't much going on. Yeah, it's just your usual Donkey Kong kidnaps Pauline and all that. But for those of you who really want to know the plot, really, is that Donkey Kong gets upset at Pauline because she would not want to look at his Donkey Kong Mini. So that's when he starts to get mad, and then he once again kidnaps Pauline. But as for Mario, even though he wants to go help her, but he's most likely going to be taking a backseat for the majority of the game, really. Yeah, it's only really the mini Marios from the last game that are really going to be doing the majority. They're really going to be doing the majority of the work. But anyways, everyone, now for the first area of the game, which is on the ground floor, is called Mushroom Mayham. Now for each of the first 7 floors, including the ground floor as well, there are a total of 9 levels in the game. And within each level there is a letter, which there is a mini Mario card, which, as you'll see on the top screen, once you have gotten that letter and finished off the level with it, actually gives you gives you a letter. And then once you have obtained every single letter within every level of the game, within every level of that area, within every floor, then within that floor, then you'll be able to gain yourself access to a bonus to a mini game, which if you just happen to complete a mini game, which will allow you to get construction materials for construction mode, which is essentially a mode where you can actually create your very own Mario vs. Donkey Kong levels. This was a thing before Super Mario Maker was even a thing back then. No, yeah, before Super Mario Maker was even a thing. Yeah. Not only Mario vs. Donkey Kong 2 got to has you that you can actually create your very own levels, and there was also games like Super Smash Bros. Brawl where you got to create your own levels as well, and where you got to create your own stages as well. Yeah, there have been plenty of games before Super Mario Maker where you got to create your very own stages and whatnot. Yeah, but anyways, everyone. Now as for the obstacles that we've been seeing on the ground floor so far, now what we've seen so far are these springs where you can have the mini Mario's jump onto. But, however, at times you will need to utilize the stylus so that you can have the mini Mario's jump to those springs. Because otherwise, then the mini Marios are just gonna skip past it altogether. And then of course we have spikes that can easily just destroy your mini Marios altogether. And then we have those piranha plants, which of course then of course we have piranha plants that spit out fireballs, and then we also have these pink blocks, which you can't do any when it comes to these pink blocks, now, as you'll see here, there are some pink blocks that are empty, while some of them are full. Yeah, as you've been seeing so far. Now you can actually get rid of the pink blocks pink blocks. Now you can actually get rid of the pink blocks by simply just tapping it with the stylus. Which then will be added to the total number of that little small number on which is on the top screen. Then you can fill up another set of pink blocks with that number. Yeah, so you obviously cannot go too crazy with those. Yeah, and you're gonna be doing this for basically for every level in the game, really. Well, for every level that actually has those, actually has these blocks that are empty or filled in already. Yeah, you're gonna be doing this for essentially for the majority of the game, really. And then as you saw with that last level, there are these conveyor belts, which you can change. Whenever you tap the arrows that actually change the direction of the conveyor belts. Yeah, and you essentially just have to make sure that you have the mini Marios, so you have the mini Marios actually get to where you actually want them to go. Yeah. But anyways, now as you'll see here as well. Yeah, as you've been seeing within essentially the majority of the Mario vs. Donkey Kong games are your usual hammer power up. Now, as you saw there, yeah, you can actually, of course, yeah, you can destroy the you can destroy the Shine Guys with them. But however, some of the enemies that you're gonna see here as well, yeah, they're not really gonna be destroyed by the hammers. Yeah, they're only really gonna get stunned. Yeah, if you actually hit several enemies with the hammers, yeah, sometimes they will only get stunned for like a while, but then they will just get themselves back up again. Yeah, that's something that you'll definitely have to keep in mind when it comes to some of the enemies here. And speaking of which, now here is our first enemy that will only get stunned with the hammer. And here we have the circus. Here we have the circus cons. If any of the mini Marios are actually end up going near him, yeah, then the Circus Con will start to actually juggle them, which I will show off right here. Yes, here. Yes, here. Yeah. That's when he will start to actually juggle them. And if you want to release them, then you simply, then all you have to do is simply just like stun them. You simply just have to stun him in order for you to release the, mini Marios. But also, if any of the mini Marios go near the Circus Con, even after the Circus Con already has 2 that he's juggling, yeah, then the mini Mario will get knocked back and be stunned for a while too. So yeah, that's something that you obviously have to keep in mind of when it comes to this. Oh yeah, that's right. And that's right, everyone. And also within several levels of this game, there are these there is essentially, now when you see a gold Mario, and then now if you actually see a gold Mario, yeah, you may want to save him for entering the door for last. Yeah, you may want to save that gold Mario for last. Yeah, considering that if you really want to get the majority, if you really want to get more points, yeah, I'll say this, yeah, if you really want the best score for this game, then, yeah, essentially for every level in the game, yeah, you not only have to make sure that every mini Mario goes in the door at the same time as each other, for like one after another, every time every time a mini Mario enters a door, yeah, there will be like a score that you can actually double. That score, like right after another mini Mario enters the door. But however, if you wait too long, then that counter stops. Then the double up that scoring on the door actually stops. So yeah. And also everyone, now back to what I was saying about for mini Mario, is that back to what I was saying about the gold Mario, is that if you just so happen to enter the door, if you have the gold mini Mario enter the door for last, then that's when you can actually have that overall score be quadrupled. Meaning of course you will get even more points for it. Yeah, and if you also want to make sure that you get even more points, yeah, you not only need that perfect chain, but you also need to make sure that all of the mini Marios don't stop moving. And considering that the majority of these levels have more than one mini Mario to them, and considering with how big some of these levels tend to be, and considering that, yeah, the bottom screen doesn't always fully show where exactly every mini Mario is, meaning that you really do have to pay attention to every single mini Mario. You really have to pay attention to every single mini Mario that is within the level. Yeah, because otherwise, yeah, you're most likely just gonna end up not so much getting much. You're not really gonna get that much amount of points. Yeah, and now, and also, now, and if you really want to make sure that you get yourself a majority amount of points, then you really have to make sure that none of the mini Marios die. Like, none of them. Because otherwise, yeah, if you actually lose just one mini Mario, then you're also not gonna get that many points for either. But anyways, oh yeah, that's right, everyone. Now, and if you manage to, oh yeah, and this also goes into what you are about to see. Oh my god, excuse me. But anyways, now, and if you just have as you've been seeing, now for every mini Mario that we have managed to get through the door. Now the total number of mini Marios on the top screen on the main menu here, yeah, will show you how many mini Marios that you have managed to bring to, that you actually managed to bring to the door. And with those mini Marios is essentially your health bar for when you get into your boss fight against when you actually get to your boss fight against a Donkey Kong. And as you'll see here, yeah, now that we've gotten every mini Mario letter, this right here is the mini game called Shine Guy Smash. Where you essentially just have to get surpass the goal number, a number of shine guys, the goal number of shine guys that the game will want you to hit. But anyways, everyone, now we're done with everything on the floor that I could possibly do for now. Now we're gonna be going into our very first boss fight against the Donkey Kong in this game. Oh yeah, and I guess I should explain this as well. Yeah, the majority of everything that you do in this game is you really utilize your stylus. Yeah, you really have to use your stylus for the majority of everything, for almost everything in this game. Yeah, which also dives into this first boss fight as well, where you simply just have to move around the cannon so that you can avoid the obstacle, where you can avoid the objects that Donkey Kong drops down on you, and you also utilize the shoot button near the wheel so that you can have the mini Marios. So that you can essentially have the mini Marios shoot themselves up into where Donkey Kong is. Now, and this also goes into for every boss fight with Donkey Kong 2, is that now it really doesn't matter how many mini Marios that you save. Now depending on the number of mini Marios you save, that is essentially how many mini Marios that you are going to be bringing with you to that boss fight. But also, Donkey Kong will always have 6. Will always have 6 HP to him. So yeah, so essentially, no matter like how many mini Marios that you have brought. Donkey Kong will always have the exact same number of hit points to him, so you don't have to worry about him having more him having more hit points. But anyways, now we're clearing that first boss. Now we've entered floor 1, tropical turmoil. And with that said, I think that's all I'm gonna do with this part. And so we shall continue on for the next one. And so to then, I'll see you guys next time.